Hello everyone, welcome back to JDCodebase. I hope you are doing great. In today's video, we are going to learn one of the most important concepts in JavaScript and honestly one of the most confusing topic of all beginners. That topic is closures in JavaScript. And don't worry if closures sound scary right now or in this video, I will explain everything slowly from zero and simple example and real life use cases. By the end of this video, you will not only understand closure, but you will also feel confident explaining them to someone else also. So let's start. Now in this video, we will learn what a closure is in JavaScript, how closure work internally, what lexical scope means, why closures are important, real world and practical example, and common mistake beginners make. So make sure you watch this video till the end. Now, first understand the scope. Before we talk about the closure, we must understand the scope because closures are impossible to understand without scoping. So scope means simply means where a variable can be used. Global scope, function scope, block scope, which comes with the let and const also. The most important rule here is the a variable can be used only inside its scope, not the outside. We'll see some examples soon. And now, first one is the what is lexical scope. And lexical scope means scope is divided by where the code is written, not by where the function is called. In simple words, inner function can access variable of the outer function. Outer function cannot access the inner variable and inner functions variables. So lexical just means location in the source code. Now let's understand with the code. So I am writing here a function, outer function, and inside this declare a variable name JD, a normal function, nothing special in this, and also declaring a one more function inside this called the name inner, and I am giving the name console.log name here and call this function, and outside also call this outer function. So we have a function called the outer here, and inside the outer function we have a variable called the name. Let name is equal to JD, and then inside the outer function we create another function called the inner. Inside the inner we are using the variable name, and now the important question is how does inner know about the name? So the answer is the lexical scope, because inner is written inside the outer function, and inside the outer function here it can access everything inside the outer function. So this is the lexical scope, but the opposite is not possible. If I run here node 26, I get JD here, but if I try to let age is equal to 25 and console.log age, and now if I try to access the age here, I get the error per 100%. Yes, age is not defined, and console reference error, age is not defined here. So this is the lexical scope, means we can get the value, we can retrieve the value, we can access the value of the outer function inside the inner function, but we cannot retrieve the value, we cannot access the value of inner function outside the outer function, outside the inner function. Now comes to the closure. Now that a lexical scope is clear to you, we can finally understand the closure now, because a closure, now what is closure? A closure is created when a function remember and access variable from its lexical scope, even when it is executed outside that scope. It, if in a very simple words, if I say function plus its outer variable is closure. So let's see the most famous example, closure example. So this is a outer function. Let me comment this and make a new function, function outer, inside this let count equal to 0, a normal count variable, and inside this again make a inner function, and inside this I am saying count plus plus and console.log count, and after that return this inner function. So let's me call this by just to make a variable counter equal to outer function, and call this counter function twice, counter counter. Now let me run this. I get 1 and 2. Now when we call this outer function, it runs and return the inner function, return inner here, and inner here is the function, inner function. So at this point outer is finished executed, means when I call this outer function it returns the inner function and finish it's executed. We already learned in the functions, means when we write the in return keyword means the function is the terminate and terminate the executing, finish is executing. Normally you may think that count should be destroyed, means this count variable should be destroyed in when we terminate this. So but that does not happen here. Why? Because inner is still using the counter. We are return the inner function here, not anything any string value, and inner function keep use this count still using this count variable. So JavaScript keep count alive in memory, and every time we call the counter function it remember the previous value of count, and this behavior is called a closure. So the inner function closes over the outer variable. Like here I get the value 1 and 2. Like if I console.log count and count here, let me run this, I get count is 0. This if you see here, count means when I call this counter function it runs this outer function, variable count is declared, and this function is declared. I get only one time, count is equal to 0, and console.log this only runs once time, but and after that it returns the inner function here, count plus plus, and count is equal to 1, and again when I call I get count is equal to 2. So now how closure works internally, the function definition and a reference to its lexical environment. It's JavaScript stored these two things, the function definition and reference to its lexical environment. Now even after the outer function execution finishes, variable are not destroyed, as we already see here. I get the 1 and 2 as the answer, and memory is kept alive. So this is why closure work here, and you do not need to remember engine detail in the present right now. Just remember this idea: if the function needs a variable, JavaScript will not delete it. It keeps live until the using inner function using. Now closures with the parameters. So let me show you one more example here. This closure topic may be slightly confusing you right now, but when you practice these examples, you maybe you 100% get the remember idea of what is closure. So let me write function greet name, and inside this I am return a function that's called, and console.log hello name. So here when I call this const greet let's say const greet JD is equal to greet JD, I means making a variable here by using this variable. So here I just call this greet JD function, and this take the value JD here, this name value here is the JD, and this function return another function, means a inner function. Now inner function uses this name value inside this console.log. Now in one inner function, remember the value of name every time. If you create multiple greetings, each one has its own memory. Like if I run this, I get hello JD, and and so that is the power of the closure. Means if you make another variables, you will get the another values like greet JDCodebase. Okay, I forget to give the value here. Means the in the function. So because we are returning a function, not the normal one. So next one is the multiple closure example. So multiple closure examples, here I have function multiplier x and it returns the function y and return x multiply y. This inner function return another value. So let's me show you in the practical way. So function multiply uh, x return function y return x multiply y. Now how can I give the means how can I access these value? Const double equal to multiply and it's take the value of 2 and call this double. Okay, I forget, I think console.log just double NaN. I forget they give the value of inner function value because this inner function value also takes the value of y. So for that, if I give here 5, I get the value of 10. So 2 is for the outer function and 5 is for the inner function. That's why here I am giving the name here, but I am not calling the inner function here. If I write here const temp equal and call this temporary function. So here temporary this this temporary function show this link with this inner function and this create JDCodebase link with the outer function this create. So remember this, we are having the two function here. First one is the multiply taking the value x and inner function taking the value y. So first I call the multiply function and give the value 2 here, and inside this I have to give the inner function also value y. So y is here is the 5. I get the hello JDCodebase and 10. And so this is the how we means use this, and each closure has its own it has its own separate memory. Like here if I make the value let's say const triple equal to multiply 3 and run this. Okay, I have to console.log triple and I have to give a function anonymous, means this give the this direct this function. Just give the value of inner function value and y when triple 3 and I get 9 as expected. So each closure has its own separate memory. So this is a real life use case for data privacy. Like I create a function create user, and inside this I have a let password is equal to secret, and inside this I am returning a new function check password, and check password also take input value and return the input is equal to password. If true then return. Here password cannot be accessed directly, means just by call this check password and I can directly access the value. No, we have to first call this, then I have to give the value here, then I have to check, then means there is a 2 or 3 layers in this. Only the return functions can access the password. This one means uh, we this create user does not have any access to this password. So this is very useful when you want to hide data. Encapsulation means now closures in event listener. And yes, event listener in the DOM also closure is used. Like here I have a function attach handler means and inside this I have a count is equal to 0 and a button document dot get element by id means we are selecting a button and apply event listener on that a click event. So every time when I click count plus plus console.log count means after clicking many times count is remember the values keep in increasing. So that is the closure again inside the event listener. Now this is the most important interview question, and means every time in JavaScript interview they ask this question this about what is the output in whether in the MCQ or in the face-to-face interview. So where here for loop is running where I is equal to 1, I is smaller than equal to 3 and I plus plus, and a set timeout function, and this it's take a arrow function and console.log I after every 1 second. So output will be 444. Why? Because where create one share variable, because in JavaScript we have where, let and const. All three behave differently, and these let and const is the similar sometime, but where is totally different from these both, because there where scoping is the different from these. These are the block scope, these are the function scope. So because where create one share variable and all callback use the same closure here, and we can fix this by just writing using the let keyword, and let keyword creates the new block every time blue because let keyword works in the block scope, it create a new block every time. So first I equal to 1, it prints the I, then I plus plus, it prints the 2, then 3. And we can also fix by using the closure also, just by writing the function inside this, and every time the function creates a new scope, a new closure. Now when closure can be a problem, closures are powerful but they can pose problem if misused, like memory leaks, unexpected the old values, too much nesting. Used correctly closures are amazing, and that's why this is have the pros, and but I also have the cons also. Now let's quickly summarize. Closure equal to function plus lexical environment, and lexical scope make closure possible, and closures remember variables and use heavily in the real project. So let's summarize this. We learned this lexical scope and understood the closure examples, and so the practical examples also. So that is for today's video on the closures in JavaScript. If this topic felt confusing before, I hope it feels much cleaner now, and take your time, practice this example and rewatch this video if needed. Closure becomes easy only with practice, and also PPT and code files are available in the video description. If you found this video helpful, like the video, subscribe to JDCode and share it with your friends. I'll see you in the next video.